speaking of
So
tarot decks,
yeah.
I love that you were talking about how you grew up Catholic and you kind of had this like aversion, because of
I mean,
religious
it was just
indoctrine.
like kind of everybody knew, but I did kind of find my way into the charismatic Catholic people. So I actually
Uh-huh.
got my gift of tongues when I was 15, and I was with like a youth group, and there's a religious conference that happens in Anaheim,
Oh,
California
okay.
every year. It's a Catholic religious conference, and I remember I was with like a youth group, and I went, and my youth group leader was like, "We're gonna go to this one. Like this mass is the shit." And I was like, "What does that mean?" And he
We have
was
different
like,
definitions,
I
sir.
know, right? And he was just like, no, this is the mass that you want to go to. And apparently, this is where all the charismatic people, they call it charismatic, but it's really people with intuitive gifts who are Catholic.
Oh,
And
okay.
so these people, like, and it's literally this entire arena full of people, and they're doing mass. And like, well, when they hold up the, like, this is the body of Christ,
Yeah.
whatever they say, right? And yeah.
Oh.
And so they would do that, and all this entire arena filled with people speaking in tongues.
Ooh.
It was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard. And I looked at him and was like, what is happening? Like, what is that? What is going on? He's just like, yeah, like I told
I
you,
told
right?
you.
Like, I told you, like, what?
Told you.
Yeah, basically, like, he was just like, yeah, te dije, like, or whatever. He said, he's like, I told you. And I was just like, what is that? He's like, that's a gift of tongues. And I was like, how do I get that? And he was like, if you ask the Lord, he will give it to you. And
Okay, Jesus.
I was like, you know
Go
what?
off,
I'm in,
Jesus.
and you know what? I literally in that mass, I got it. I was just like, I know he and I were tight. So I literally, and that was the moment. So it was so
That's
easy.
insane.
Yeah. So I went through college, getting drunk, or whatever, knowing in the back of my head, I have the gift of tongues.
Was that your pickup line?
No, it
Because
was
I would
not.
have
Like I
used that.
never did. I never
I would
said
have done it.
anything ever. But it was just so like this weird thing. How I was just like doing shit, and I'm just like, I don't even think my ex-husband knew that I had that or anything. It was just like there was just always this thing in the back of my head where it was just like, you're meant for more. You
Yep.
know that. And I was just like,
I don't want to fucking hear it, bitch.
yeah, totally.
Well,
So yeah.
go ahead.
Well, I think it just the tarot thing just ended up happening like I mean I was told. They told me they were like, you need to post. You have to post now. You need to post now. And I was just like, I
Fine.
remember, well, yeah, pretty much. I remember one day, like, I was like standing, I had a standing desk, and I remember I was like standing in front of my computer, and I had like all this shit. I had transitioned to life insurance, being a life insurance broker in like the wake of my divorce, because I was like, I need to make some serious money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still COVID and everything, and like the music thing wasn't really going very, I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't like it was before,
Yeah.
and I never really made like a shit ton of money doing it.
Okay.
It was always like the struggle bus, but I liked it. Um, so anyway, like I remember standing there just going like, I just need to do my job. And I remember just they were like, post, 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 post. And I was just like, oh, this isn't even my job. And this is the moment where they were like, but this is your job. So do it. And I
Bitch.
was
Oh.
like,
Okay.
okay. And I was like,
One thing,
okay.
one thing about all of us, I have a feeling, because we are strong, badass women, we kind of
Facts.
like being manhandled sometimes, you know? You know? So when somebody
I'm
can
not gonna say no.
Yeah,
when we
notice how
get
there's no disagreement, but for me,
yeah,
it's
Crickets.
like woman handled. But yes.
eh,
Right.
then we're kind of like Okay.
Sorry.
Seriously, so sorry about that.
Yeah, I think that like there is that the like you're gonna do this and you're gonna do this now. Like, oh,
Oh.
yes, okay.
10-4.
So yeah, there I forget what I was talking about. Were we
Getting into
talking about like
tarot.
getting into tarot? Oh, so I had gotten that tarot deck at the beginning of December. By the time I was getting hired for readings, it was May. And I
Wow.
Holy
went
shit, that
viral.
went fast.
It was very, really, really fast. So it was December of one year, and then in like the very next year, just a few months later. So what is that, 6 months? I think 6 months later, I had my very first client. And then I think in June, it was June that I went viral. And
Yes, I remember we were in one of your sub-only lives. So you do lives on TikTok, you do
Mhm.
collective reads, and then you also do sub-only lives, subscription
Yes,
only. And
yes,
I'm a subscriber. It is well fucking worth it,
Same.
people.
thank you.
We love
Thank
it.
you.
But yeah, go check her out. When you do your lives, you do mini readings, and then you also, for your subscribers, you do free questions, if I
Yeah,
remember
free
correctly.
questions. That's correct.
Nice.
Yep.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's really nice if you're a subscriber, you can pop in there anytime and ask her a
Music, put me on the
question.
list. Yeah, and
Yep.
then it's yep,
So yeah, we
totally.
were talking about that in one of your subscriber lives about how you went viral, and then the next day your inbox was just
I remember
insane.
like, yeah, like I worked really hard to get like there was a moment where I was just like, wait a second, there's 600. Who are these 600 people that are following me? I don't know any of them. I was like, oh, maybe it's like my Instagram friends, like they found me here. And I was like, I don't know who that person, like I went down the list and I was like, I don't know any of these people. Who are these people? And then it grew to like and then eventually I had more followers than I did my Instagram. And Instagram was like everything, right? And I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? And then it hit like it started to go like more and more into the thousands. I could feel the momentum building up to about 10,000. And then I remember the week that it was going to happen. I was like, it's happening this week. I like either got a download or I was just confident. I don't know, maybe both. But I was like, it's happening this week. And I didn't understand the algorithm that like once you hit 10,000, it's the algorithm starts to push your content to a broader audience.
Mm-hmm.
So once it hit 10,000, I was just like, I'm just going to keep doing my thing. I'm just going to keep putting it out there, right? And once it hit 10,000, I think I hit 100,000 within a month. And I was just thank you. But it's all spirit. Like, and I remember I was like talking to a guy at the time. We were long distance. And I remember we were doing life insurance together. And I remember telling him, like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I think I'm just going to go all in on myself and I'm just going to post as much as I can.
Hell yeah.
And I could feel his heart like just kind of break a little bit, but he was such a great guy and he was so
Aw.
supportive. And he was just like, yeah, do it. Like, let's see what happens. And I was just like, I'm going to do it. So, literally, like, I think it was like the month of May, I posted a lot and there was like a 10-day gap. And then because I traveled during those 10 days, there was a 10-day gap. I went and applied for a job in Vermont and I got the job and I turned it down. And literally, like, there was a moment like when I came back from that job, I started posting. I got a hand, foot, mouth disease
Oh
from my
fuck.
kids. So like this is the craziest thing. So I posted this video gets like the most well, it's not like I had another like video hit into the million views. Um and then like I posted a video and it was like 300, it was like in the 300,000s, which is a lot. That is a
Yeah.
lot of views.
Yeah.
And um and then like I got hand foot mouth disease. I think I went to urgent care like
Fucking
two or
kids.
three times like that week or something and I
Fuck
was
them
like, give me
kids.
something. And it was lesions. It was
Yep.
lesions in my throat. So I had one of my kids had like lesions on their knees or whatever, right? It was like a rash on their leg. And another one of my kids, I don't remember how she had it, but for me, it was lesions in my throat. And I was just like,
Mm.
okay, well played, negative energy, posting like this spiritual content on social media. So you're going to make me just not talk. Fuck you guys. So I was just like, I understood. I was just like, I get it. I see what you're doing. You're trying to scare me. You want me to stop. Nice try. So I remember I waited. I posted a couple times until I could talk. And the second I could talk again, I posted another video. That video, I think, hit like 4 million
Fuck yeah.
views.
Woo!
That video hit 4 million. So it was after I realized what the fuck was going on. I also had been through like several initiations with my spirit team. Like there's one that I tell a lot of people about the fruit, and I had like $54 in my account. They were like, go buy fruit. And I'm like, you want me to buy fucking fruit? I have fucking kids. I have like
I
and they
need
were
I
like,
need ramen and
yeah,
vodka. What the
yeah,
fuck?
Fruit in
seriously.
this economy?
And they were
Okay.
like, fruit? And I was just like, okay. So I went and bought it, and I came back home and I'm like, you happy now? I bought you your fucking fruit. What the fuck you want me to do with this shit? And they were like, now you will never have to worry ever again. They were like, we understand that you know that when you receive a message, you will do it. You understand it. You know it's from us. Like it was an initiation. And I was just like, okay. And they're like, and there was another initiation that I went through where they were like, you have access to everything. And a lot of people call that Akashic Records.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I didn't understand it as that, but they were just like, you don't have to ask for permission, because it was like a morality test. It was like and I remember experiencing the test as like clients would come in, they're like, I want to know what my ex-boyfriend is going through. And I was like, why? And I wouldn't tell them. And I would just be like, how does that serve you? Like I'd be in
Yep.
these one-on-one sessions and I'd be like, but what, but why? Like that's not for your highest good. That's because you literally are blocked everywhere else. And so you went to a psychic and you thought that you were going to figure out how to spy on them, and
And that's
no,
the
like,
ego. That was the ego.
Yep.
bingo,
Yep.
bingo, right? So my guys were like, you have access to everything that you ever
What are
want
you
to
gonna do
know,
with it?
right? And I was just like, okay, cool. Um, but yeah, I just kept posting, and there was also like other things that I did where I was just like, I manifest, trust, and know that this video is gonna reach whoever it needs to find. Like, and that's yeah,
Here
I
we
love
that's
are.
it.
pretty. Yeah, and here we are. Yeah, and I just remember going through like especially that 1 month of May where I was just like meditate, post, meditate, post, meditate, post, and it was just constant. It was just back and forth. At first, it took a lot of energy out of me
Yeah.
because the cards, even now, even though like I have a very good grasp on what each card means, but at the time, everything was intuition for me. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
The cards were just there to be like, yep, see, you're working too hard. Stop it. Like, like or whatever. It was just like, you need a rest, you're tired. Like
So
it was
it's more like the cards were like a clarification for your
yes.
intuition.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was just like and that's all it was, because I remember, like I said, I was doing like these intuitive readings for my friends, and I could see like images coming because I'm also clairvoyant. So I could
Okay.
see like in my mind like images, and I would just be like, what is that? Like, and it would just
Mm.
be like my clairvoyancy is very fuzzy. It's not like crystal clear, like claircognizance, like my claircognizance when it's just like a download of knowing, like how you got in the shower, it's just like it's a Bible verse, John
That's what I was
4:47.
gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's called what now?
Claircognizance, when you're claircognizant.
So I'm thinking that's the gift that I specifically have
You're
because
also clairsentient.
what's that?
So
Cause she knows
so
shit. She knows shit.
Yes. So you're also clairsentient. So clairsentient is like the goosebumps when you're just
I
like,
want a
oh my
gift.
God, you have gifts, honey.
You're just blocking them.
I don't know what they are, but I know you have gifts. And it's probably claircognizance.
Me?
Mhm.
You probably just have like a knowing where you're just like, I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. But I'm going to say this because I think it'll resonate with Shauna. Somebody once told me that that voice in your head that you think is the voice in your head is actually spirit. And that's when you get those, I shouldn't do this. This is not a good idea.
Yeah.
That makes
I
sense.
used to think that that was just like,
Your conscience.
yeah, like my angels and my devils. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I'm
No,
explaining that correctly.
you're explaining it perfectly, where it's like a lot of people are like, well, that's just me, right? Like that's just coming from me,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yes.
or it's like this other version of me or whatever. And while that
Mm-hmm.
could be true, right? Because there's also the higher self, and the higher self is like so many different versions of you at different times, different,
True.
different timelines and all that kind of stuff, right? So like your higher self is also the person a week from now or 2 hours from now or 300 lifetimes from now. Like your higher self is like so many different versions of you. um so I guess like the voice in your head, right? And not everybody has that, by the way. Not
That
everybody
freaks me
has an
out. People
yes.
people that
When
don't
they
have
said
that
that,
freak me out. One of
Not
Cody's
everybody
best
has an
friends doesn't
internal
have that.
yes.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
that
not
freaked me
everybody
out
has
too.
an internal dialogue. So when somebody comes to me, they're like, I really want to learn how to talk to my guides. I want to learn how to do this. And I'm like, well, do you have that's always my first question. Do you have an internal dialogue? And if they're like, no, I'm like, cool. So how do you know like what you want to do every day? Like,
Yeah.
is there like a feeling like is there like a thought process? Like
Look,
what is
Christina's
going
like, how
on?
do you not? How do you not have that?
Yeah,
I'm
not
so
everybody
confused.
apparently, like I can't remember the statistics. I think it's like maybe 50% of people don't or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like not everybody has an internal dialogue. Um and I was just very lucky to figure out that that internal dialogue is my spirit team, and I
Right.
figured it out. So, because I remember like the very first morning I ever went out for one of those walks when like shit hit the fan in my previous marriage, and I
Excuse me.
remember just kind of, oh, you okay?
I'm just
She's
burping.
burping.
Oh, okay, I understand. So, so I remember just kind of like walking out there, and I was just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna try this, and I was like, hello, and
I've
I
done that.
waited, and they were like, hey, and I'm like, oh shit,
See,
and
I feel like I'm scared to do that. I'm terrified.
I
Yep.
mean, it's understandable, but here's the thing that here's the okay. This was but back in 2021, I think, when I was going through this 2022, 2021, 2022. Okay. And then it was like 2022. That's when it really happened. And I think I was still very much in the mindset of like, if people figure out that I'm talking to the voices in my head, I'm going to be locked up into a mental
Boom.
institution.
Boom.
That right there, right? And so I actually, God rest his soul, I became very good friends with a priest who was very intuitively gifted in my adulthood, and he helped me a lot. And I figured out one day, because again, like I worked at church, I used to play in the choir, like I played viola for masses, right? And it was my gig. And so I remember one day there was a mass that I was doing and he was presiding over it. And there was this, the room was chill. The whole church was like super chill. But this one man came in and he was blessing everything, the wine and the wafers or whatever. And
The
in
Snacks.
crackers.
this, the crackers. And he like this man walked in and he said, and I felt the energy come in and I was just like, ew,
Mm.
ugh, like
Mhm.
gross. And he set everything down and I was like, what the fuck was that? The fuck, you know? I was like, how did you know? I was like, I know, I know. How did you know?
Oh, because he was picking up on the same icky
He
vibes.
was, yeah,
Mm.
because he stopped. He like took a moment, he stopped and he like put his hand over his chest, over his heart, and he like stopped and I saw him like recollect himself. And I was like, oh, he felt it. Like he felt the energy shift.
So does like
Yes.
everybody can't do that?
Not everybody can do that, Shauna, and it's fucking weird and it fucks with my head
That's
because
weird.
I'm just that part fucks with me, not the part um that like I have gifts that
It's that
I
other people don't.
it's that other people are asleep to it.
Yeah.
The fact
I
that
love that
people
you said that. Asleep to it.
they're
I love
they're
that.
asleep at the switch. They're literally like all you have to do is just go like I'm on.
Like
And
other people can't feel icky people or like nice people?
some people are just so in their program of wanting to be liked
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
and being likable and accepting.
Mm.
They're just like, oh, I don't think anything. Like they're oblivious. Like it's chosen ignorance. I asked I asked somebody one time, I was like, why the fuck do you still watch the news? And they literally said it's to keep me afraid. And I was like, what are you doing?
Why would you want to do that?
Why would you do that to yourself? Why would anybody choose that? Like that's ridiculous. Like stop it. You know, listen
Mm-hmm.
to yourself, listen to your heart. Listen
Yeah.
to like what your body like people forget that you were born in this, you have grown in this, you have lived in this, you have been through trauma in this, and you've had like happy moments and joyful moments and sad. And this relationship with the self is the most important relationship in the world. But you are still going to look outside of yourself for all the information that you need. Why? Why would you
Why?
look outside of yourself when you rely on how you feel to give you the information that you need? It boggles my mind. Like, it blows me away. I'm like, why? But hold on. So, but you trust yourself to feed yourself, to give you water, to know when you need to exercise, bodily functions, right? Like, but when it comes to like knowledge, you're not going to trust your body to tell
Mm-hmm.
you
The
if
fuck?
somebody is like good for you or not good for you. That
Sorry.
doesn't make sense to me.
One of my favorite things that I will tell people is because I'm one of those people that I meet you and I instantly like or I instantly hate
Yep.
you.
I
Same.
love that.
I can pick up on energy and I'm like, nope,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I discovered was paying attention to how you feel after being around somebody.
Yeah.
So I had a friend that I cared very, very deeply about them, but I felt drained and negative and tired
Mm.
after we would spend time together. And I was
Mm.
like, but I love this person. I love this person. Like, what do you mean? And I realized when spirit and divine universe finally yanked them out of my life with a ripcord, how abundant my life became, how
Yeah.
love and light my energy became, how I attracted other things into me. So I always tell people pay very close attention to how you feel in your body after you're with somebody. Do you feel kind of sick to your stomach? Are you just
Right.
like, oh my God, I need to take a nap? I am beat.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
shouldn't feel that way around people that are meant for your highest good. They
You
shouldn't make
froze
you feel that.
again. Sorry. It just,
Motherfucker.
I wanted you to know that you froze, and that's the reason why I started kind of chuckling because your face was funny.
Spirit is like enough of you, Christina.
I
Seriously,
don't think
enough.
so.
Okay, so let's get into
I love
do
you,
you
by the
have
way.
a
I think you're amazing.
I love you and I think you're amazing.
Thank you.
Didn't I leave that comment on your video? I said,
I
but
think so.
what if you're my soul
Yeah.
family?
And I was like, I'm here for it. Like, let's do it.
Okay, let's get into Shauna, what the fuck are you doing?
I was thinking about cutting these, honestly.
Why? They're so cute. They're
So,
Not
long.
before
You're
your
right.
wedding, bitch.
I don't need them this long. It'll be fine.
No, they are super fucking long.
Yeah.
They are very
Um,
long.
let's get into some readings. Do you have any messages for Shauna, for me, for us as a collective? What do you got for us? What are you
Well,
feeling?
sure, let's do that. But before I do any reading, I set up my energetic space. So I begin every single session or reading or whatever, making sure that everything is protected, okay? Even if
Yeah.
it's my wife, and you can like fact check that maybe later or something. I don't know. Even then, I'm like, Archangel Michael. Okay,
I love
Yes.
that. Wait, I
so
love that you do that. You do that before every reading. And Archangel
every single,
Michael is my
he's the man.
homie.
Yes.
Archangel Michael is my dude. I went to a reading one
Mm-hmm.
time. You were with me for that reading, weren't you,
Yep.
Shauna?
Yep.
And she said, "You are the Archangel Michael."
Yep.
She was like, "You are the warrior. You are the one that protects everybody." And I was like, "Michael's my homie, man."
Michael
So I
is the
love that
man.
you. Oh,
I love Archangel Michael.
love.
I basically took the Saint Michael prayer and like he and I we had like a little like meeting, and he was like, I don't like it. I want it to be this. And I was like, got it. That same thing happened with Jesus's mom. Like she and I are really tight too. And I was like journaling one day, and like I was like, so the Virgin Mary, blah blah blah, and I felt her like get really mad. She's like, I'm not virgin. And I was just like, oh, so sorry. And she was like, don't call me that anymore. And I was just like, yes, ma'am. What would you like to be
Sorry.
called?
So
And she was
sorry.
like, Holy Mother's fine. And I was like,
Oh,
got it. Like,
okay. 10-4.
yeah,
Seriously,
Seriously,
so
I'm so
sorry.
sorry.
yeah, so sorry. And she was like, and she went off on this whole thing where she was just like, how do you think Jesus had any siblings? Like, Jesus was not immaculate conceived. Like, it was like a whole thing. And it was just, and it was like, sex has become very perverted and this whole, and I was just like, yeah, that could be like another podcast, I guess,
Yeah,
another
let's
thing.
do that
Yeah,
sometime.
yeah. Okay, so Source God Energy created the universe. Thank you for this time with Christina and Shauna and everybody listening. Hello, everyone. And I call on everyone's spirit team, only of the highest high, only of love and light, angels, ancestors, saints, Holy Spirit, spirit guides, spirit animals, and higher self. I call on Archangel Michael with your shield and your sword. Please guard and protect this space, transmute all energy to love and light. And then this is the part where I usually speak in a little bit of tongues just to like have my own private thing. Okay, cool. Let's see what comes out. Let's see what comes out here. I'm so excited. Thank you so
I'm
much for
so
asking me to
Me
do
excited.
too.
this. Yay.
We
Okay, we
love
have the
you.
Seven of Wands coming out. I do see some like defensiveness here, like feeling like you need to protect your territory with the Temperance card because like things are very balanced right now. And you're like, I need to protect this. It's like almost like I need to protect my peace. I also love how like 7 and 14 are coming out. The Temperance card is the 14 card. What else is coming out? We have the Queen of Swords. I love this. So I'm doing like a collective reading for the two of you. And I'm getting that the two of you are like very protective of this space of like what you're building together and what you're building individually. And I love that the two of you have come to the place of like, in order for me to have balance, I need to have like enough rigidity with enough flow, if that makes sense. So you need
Hmm.
to have like, so you're like, I'm going to protect this. Not everybody is welcome, but I'm also like in my space, in my protected space, I'm going to let it flow. The Queen of Swords is somebody who's just like a very passionate leader. This is feminine energy, doesn't have to be a woman, can be a man, can be non-binary. And this energy right here is all about like logic and reason, but it's also about like mental clarity. So like getting right with like again mental health, like getting right in your mind. Asking yourself, and again, the relationship with the self is always number one. So asking yourself, well, what is it that I like? What is it that I don't like? What do I appreciate? What do I not appreciate? What would I like more of? What would I like less of? And then having all of that mental clarity so then you can communicate that clearly. And I feel like this is very much talking about y'all's podcast, and how like it's like, well, we are very, it's like we're very protective of the space that we have together. There's a very good balance, obviously, with the two of you. And it's like, how do we get the messages out that we want to get out? So now we have the Justice card, the 11 card.
Woo!
And I love this because it's like you guys are definitely living your path. You're living your purpose. This is like your lives are very purpose driven. And so here, and I love how like in the Justice card, they also have a sword and the scales. And I love how it's like, okay, there's balance, there's truth, there's like, I also see like transparency here. It's very grounded, and victory. The six of wands. Lots of success, lots of victory coming in, especially for each individual and the podcast alike.
Hell yeah.
Woo!
I love that. I have the judgment in reverse coming out here. I feel like let's clarify the judgment card in reverse. I like one of the things that I'm getting here is that like you are definitely like intentionally attracting people who will be like welcoming, but you're also intentionally attracting an audience where they feel challenged and you also feel challenged. Like it's like challenging both ways. And the thing that they're bringing to mind is like a podcast that's like really popular right now is the telepathy tapes. And people are listening not necessarily because they believe everything, but they're just like it's like a curiosity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And so I have the 5 of wands coming out. So the 5 of wands is telling me how like this is all about like it's like fighting, and it could be internal, it could be external. And then I have the moon coming out in indecision. So it's like it could be like on a subconscious level. It could be like you guys are like provoking like awakenings. Like you guys are provoking um or triggering like people to just kind of be like I fucking like it would be like this. It would be like I fucking love these girls. Like I feel like when I put on their podcast, like I feel like I'm just like hanging out with them.
Dude, that's what
Like
everybody says all the
yeah,
time.
That's
right?
what
But
some
then
of our actual reviews say on
yes, I
our
love that
podcast.
so much, right? But then it's like the topics that you bring, they're just like, wow, I never saw that conversation going in this direction. Like that's fucking cool. Like wow, I wouldn't know. And because of your energy and your frequency, individually and together, right? You're you're making people feel very comfortable in their skin, in their bodies, in their lives. Like it's like you're normalizing a lot of stuff, right? But then the
Hell yeah.
next part is, yes, which is beautiful, but the next part is like, oh wait, you mean that like that shit is cool too? Like that's not I've always thought that about myself, or I've always thought that about this. And so you mean I'm not crazy? Like that's
Yeah.
normal. So even doing things like this where you're talking about mental health and spirituality and deconstruction of like, religious trauma and all that stuff, right? Like or even politics if you guys want to go that direction or whatever it is, like you guys are just going to be able to bring things to the surface where things may have been like it may have been a lot of tension on an individual level for the listener and for the audience, but then it's going to get to the point where you're just like your audience will evolve through you.
That's
And I
cool.
just
Yeah.
I love that so much. And I just want to give a shout out to the armchair expert Dag Shepard and Monica Padman, who like totally did that for me. So when I was still married and like I thought I was happily married, I realized like, fuck, this is not it. Like, you know? And that was just because like these two people showed up every week. Right? And
Right.
that's, I feel like, how you guys are doing it. So look at that. We have the sun, lots of beauty and happiness coming out for people. We have the high priestess coming out for you
Woo!
guys. Lots of balance, lots of intuition. Like, this is like a oneness with the self, with the environment, with the world, with their spirit team, with their spirituality. Like this is like bringing the soul and the body into like a massive, beautiful union and oneness. I have a card that fell down. And yeah, the Queen of Cups. So it's
Oh,
bringing the Queen of Cups is a beautiful card too, because like this is basically like, you know how everybody has like that one person that they love, like they love going to their house,
Yeah.
you know? And it's just right. So it's like they love going to their house. It's because like they're compassionate, they're nurturing, they're available, right? They're like, you know, they
good
tell you how
vibes.
it is. Yes, very good vibes. You feel welcomed. And they're
Yes.
always like calling you by like either your favorite like pet name. It's like, Mija, come here, you're fine. Like, siéntate. Here, have a little drink. That was my friend's mom, and I always like I would go over there, and she would like have me over for family dinner, and she'd be like, "Come here, Mihan, like sit down, tell us about what's going on with your life, what's going on with your husband, what's happening now, you know, like are you married again? Okay, let's like talk about it, you know." And so I there's always like that one person, and there's this like Queen of Cups energy, so it's like we're checking in on our lives, we're checking in together, we're checking in on like how everybody's, so there's like a community vibe here, you know. And I also love that it's like the Queen of Cups is water, right? So it just flows. And so
Yep.
the two of you are just building this beautiful team, this beautiful camaraderie, companionship here. You guys are learning from each other. Anything else for it in the world? This is a new cycle of love and companionship.
Yes.
Look at that.
I
Look at
love
us.
that.
The
So
cards don't lie.
let me ask you a question. I
Yeah.
think something we've been kind of struggling with is balancing doing the podcast with our lives, right? So we're really struggling. Sometimes we're not in a good headspace and we're like, you know what? We're not going to record this week because it's been a bad week. I'm feeling icky, and we prioritize our lives over the podcast, right? So I guess my question would be, are we doing the right thing with that? Or do we need to get more rigid and more like, do we need to put out an episode every week? Are we okay putting 2 out a month? Like, what are we?
I think from what I'm getting right now, from what I'm like hearing, it's like it depends on your objective. So what is your
Mhm.
objective? Is your objective to um they're gonna kind of call you out a little bit on this one, okay?
They always
They're
do.
okay.
They
So they're
always
saying,
do.
I love that. So they're saying, is your objective to put out a facade of joy and happiness only when it serves you and when it's aligned with you? Or is your objective to put out real information like your real selves and authenticity? So if your objective is authenticity in the real life with real women living it, like doing it, then you need to be rigid. If your objective is to only put on a happy face when it suits you, then when it suits you,
Are we going to be
Well,
real or are we going to be fake?
first of all,
basically.
Spirit, you're right.
Yeah.
Second of all, how dare you?
I mean, this is about your joy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is about your own fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
This
look
is
at
about
that.
your, yeah, it's about your own fulfillment. And it's like, do you decide that this is one of the cups that you fill? Or is this a cup that's neglected? Is this even its own cup? You know, like,
Mhm.
so one of the things like I tell my clients is that like the cup that you have with yourself for yourself that you fill is not to be shared. You don't pour from that cup.
Yep.
So you have a relationship and it's like a really good relationship. Each one of you pours into that cup equally. You have a relationship with your kids, right? That's like a different kind of cup. You have to pour more into it than they're going to pour into it, right? But then you like ideally would teach them how to pour into that cup, right? So it's
Right.
like all those different things. So it's like you have your work cup, you have your relationship cup, you
Mm-hmm.
have your personal cup, but then do you have a podcast cup?
Right.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, we're going to pour into this cup like this, right? So
Yeah.
and it's creating that, so you have a, so for the two of you it would be like we have a friendship cup, and then we have a sub cup, and that's the podcast cup,
Right.
Right.
right? And that would be like how I would see it for the two of you. Is like each one of you have your individual cups, and you have like all of your cups that you manage and have and like are very precious to you. But then it's like, okay, I have my podcast cup and I want to like make sure that is filled as well.
Yeah.
But when you're asking like, is there abundance? I think what you're asking is that like, is there abundance coming to you from, so let's see, Spirit, if they were to
When are we going to get
post,
money?
Yeah.
so let's see, if they were to post regularly, if they were to like put out regular, so that I'm seeing that you guys would have to let a lot of like narratives go in your mind in
Yeah.
order for you guys to get to the point where you guys post regularly. So if they get rid of all of that stuff, would they be able to start having advertisers? The full in reverse. They're literally saying like you guys have a lot to get out of they're just like
They're telling us we're the problem.
yeah, basically they're just like
Yeah.
they're like do it because the two of you are best friends and you want to share this
Do it because you
joy.
want to and see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're literally
Ow.
saying like you got the whole they're like remember the reason why you guys got the download to do it is like we're fucking hilarious. Like we should have a podcast, right? That's basically
Yep.
how it happened, right?
That's literally how it happened.
Right? I mean, I'm a psychic for a reason. I didn't need to be there. And so like that's how it happened. So it's like,
Just
well,
get back to
just
that.
just keep doing that,
Yeah.
right?
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
How am I going to be getting some money around here?
Oh,
What
Shawnee.
subscriptions do I need to get rid of?
Let's see what's
The
coming through
wedding.
for Shauna. Let's see, Shauna. Well, you're very like closed off. I have the Hermit coming out in reverse for you. So they're saying like you kind of need to come out of your shell a little bit more. And sorry. And you see how you don't like that. And they're
You
saying
gotta
like
you gotta talk rough to her. It's just
so you have the Seven of Pentacles, so they're showing me how like sometimes like you're just waiting. You're like waiting on things and they're like you could just go out and harvest. Like
You could do
you
it
can do you could go out and do that. You have the Three of Swords coming out.
every
You do have a
fucking
lot of
time.
yeah, you
every
have a lot of
fucking
grief.
time.
You have a lot of grief. Like there's a lot of grief, there's a lot of heartbreak. This is kind of showing me like a self-sabotage thing. Like you're very there's like an internal, let's see here. There's an internal dialogue here for you that goes back really, really far that makes you very defensive
Mhm.
and makes you feel like is it like really hitting the nail on the head here?
I almost choked on that.
I'm gonna just head out.
And there's the
You were
seven
like,
of
let's talk money. And Spirit is like, no, no. What we're gonna talk about is you and your
yeah.
defensive ass attitude.
Well, the thing is that like even if they tell you like, hey, you're strong, independent, confident, secure, because the Nine of Pentacles fell on the floor. So even if we tell you you're strong, independent, confident, secure, you're like, I know. So
Hi,
that's
I'm
the thing.
Shauna.
So you're just like really like, uh-huh. And then
Literally.
like and
Nothing.
so
And then
that then
nothing.
there's nothing, right? So they're just like, well, even if we tell you like you're amazing and you're
You're not
incredible
gonna
and you're
fucking listen.
so that's pretty I mean, look I went through this phase too. I went through this phase actually not too long ago because people think that after your awakening it's just like all sunshine and rainbows now and you're like, I am one with spirit and we just like talk all the time and it's so beautiful and like I just like, I just tell me what to do every day and it's just like a
And I
perfect
just do
light.
it.
I just do it. It's just so beautiful. Like it's not how it is. Like it's not it. I tell people the difference between being awake and asleep is you are now in the 5D. The 5D is the brain. The 5D is imagination. The 5D is like all of the stuff that goes on internally. It's the moon card, right? It's the subconscious, and now you have become one with the subconscious. In the 3D, you still think you're crazy, right? You still think you're crazy, and you still think that you're not worthy. But the thing is that now you're co-creating in the 5D instead of being at the mercy of the 3D. Does that make sense? I hope I'm explaining
Yeah.
that correctly. So
That
Yeah.
makes
what's
sense.
happening is that, like, Shauna, you do have gifts and you do listen, but you're very stubborn about being in the 5D. You want to just be in the 3D because you're just like, I just want to do this right now. So here's the thing is that, like, the abundance will come when you decide that you don't have to be defensive. You don't have to be defensive to the fact that you are spiritually gifted and intuitive and talented. You don't have to, like, you have nothing to prove. There's nothing to prove anymore. Um it's like it's like the like everybody knows it except you type of thing. Like everybody knows that you're beautiful, talented, and intuitive, and everybody knows it except you. But the thing is this, the big secret is that you actually also know it, and you're letting on that you don't. So I'm so sorry. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
Sabrina, I'm gonna need you to just back up.
I'm sorry. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me. Um, so so you have the judgment card, and I'm so nervous right now. You have the judgment
Why?
card in reverse. And you have the Knight of Swords in reverse, and then you have the High Priestess in reverse. So the judgment in reverse is like, this hoe went through her awakening and she didn't do anything about it. And so now she has all this shit running around her head and she's not doing jack shit about it. And even though we try to talk to her, that bitch don't listen. She don't listen for shit. We bribe her with candy. It don't work. And
Hi. I don't know how. I don't know how to listen.
Here's
I think
why.
it,
Here's why.
go
If we're
ahead.
gonna be blunt and honest, it's because she was told for so long that she's not shit and she doesn't have ideas and she's stupid and this, that, and the other. That's
Yeah.
why. So
It's the
she
grief.
knows that she's not these things,
Right.
but it's very hard to like break that
I feel
Dude,
that
like
fuck
one
cycle.
off.
I feel like one of the things that I feel like you do know what to do. I'm so sorry, Shauna. I love you so much. But I feel like one of the things is that's going on is that you actually do know what to do. It requires a lot of courage for you to believe in yourself. It requires so much courage, and I definitely understand that. Um, because because on the other side of that, like, fear and doing the thing, there's the question. There's like, how did you know to do this? And I think that's what gets to you is that,
Yeah.
like, I'm not a liar, like you're not a liar. And so you're like, well, I'm gonna literally straight up tell them like spirit told me to. And you're gonna sound like you to the other person, like you care very much about how you're perceived. And and you're like, well, when I tell them spirit told me to, I'm gonna sound and look crazy.
Right.
And I totally get that because going viral for me and see, like, I remember just kind of going like, this is for the people of the internet. This is not this is not for my family. Get out of my business. Literally. I remember like that rage of like the fear of being seen um in my gifts.
Right.
And I remember like the just sheer terrifying feelings of that. And there's also like I'm not like the most secure person in my body. I'm not the most secure person about like the way I look. And I think that's just like a very normal thing. It's super, super
Yeah.
normal. And I think that's also part of the reason why I started showing up in a messy bun with like mascara running down my like all fucked up, like, and I was just like, this is real. Like this is real life,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because I didn't want to put on the facade that like I wake up like this and I just, like the
Yeah.
thing is that like you're humaning. Humaning is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Humaning is challenging, and you need to know that you're worthy of humaning. I think that's like the very basic part here for you.
Right.
The very basic thing is like I am worthy of like a beautiful life. I'm worthy of a beautiful life.
You
And
just hit the nail on the head.
I'm worthy of a beautiful life. I'm worthy of a beautiful husband. I'm worthy of a beautiful family and beautiful home and beautiful things. I'm worthy of all of those things. And it's not because you're a good person. That's not the reason why you're worthy. Contrary to popular belief, that isn't the reason why you're worthy. The reason why you're worthy is because you're here and you just exist
Yep.
and you're alive and you're breathing. That is the only reason why you're worthy. I mean, sure, the other things are really great too, but you're worthy because you exist, because you were thought of,
Yep.
because from the moment that you were created, you were loved. And so the creation, the walk of being created, and then like being a creator, because that's really what's happening. Is that what's happening if we were going to strip away all of the bullshit, all of the earth shit and everything, if we were going to strip everything down, it's like I was created. Now what? Right? So, and you have a beautiful example, a 2-year-old example of this in your home, right? Where it's just like you created this thing because you wanted to, because you love so deeply and so vastly, and like you created another life because there was so much love between you and your partner. And that's like part of I love you so much. And there's and like think of like source as with source with their partner and all the love that they have inside of them and with their partner, and going like, I'm going to create this other beautiful being and I'm going to call them Shauna. And and it's like I'm gonna teach Shauna how to be strong and resilient. And I'm gonna teach Shauna how to create like me. Because I think that being a creator is just so wonderful. I want another being to be able to create along with me or alongside me, or even just for themselves. And that's literally like the whole point. So the thing for you, Shauna, is that, and I think for like a lot of people, like each one of us individually and everybody listening, like everybody has gone through extreme amounts of trauma. It doesn't all look the same. But one of the first things I learned being a psychic medium and like being an intuitive reader and doing this, I think it was like in the first couple months of doing this, I realized trauma is trauma, period. No matter how severe the trauma, no matter if like one person, let's say one person like never was molested, never had to go through like a divorce, never had to go through any of these things, right? But they had other things that happened in their life that was extremely
Right.
traumatic for them, right? But then they have
Nobody's
like
trauma is worse than someone else's.
nobody's exactly. And then you have another person who was like trafficked, right? And like
Right.
went through like child trafficking and all that stuff. And that is obviously very traumatic as well. But the thing is that the way the body is processing, storing it, and protecting itself is the same. The
That's my
exact
problem.
way the exact way that it's happening may not be the exact way, because like with Kristen's son, it's like, okay, he's got this past life thing. This is what happened to his leg. This is the way the body's processing that trauma. For me, I have like other things going on. This is the way my body's processing. So it's like the body's going to do what it needs to do because, again, the ego is here to keep the body alive.
Right.
Right? But then for you, it's like, okay, I have this trauma, and you believe it. You believe that it makes you unworthy. You're still in the phase of believing the trauma. It's like it's the equivalent of brainwashing. This is manipulation and this is gaslighting. This is triangulation. And this is like believing that you are not worthy. But the thing is that you are worthy and everybody's worthy. Every single person that is alive on earth is 100% worthy. And so getting yourself to the point where it's just like, it's, yes, it's about abundance, but abundance is a feeling. And when you know that you're worthy of abundance and you have the feeling of like, I'm abundant, I'm so grateful for everything in my life. Look at all of these beautiful things I have in my life. I'm so grateful because Spirit is actually saying, bitch, you already fucking grateful. Like, are you already fucking abundant? Just be grateful for it and we'll give you more. That's literally all Spirit is saying. They're saying, you're fucking abundant already.
Yep. It
Know
is.
it,
I
feel
know.
it, know it and feel it. And then once you know it and feel it, the universe will reflect back to you. The world is your mirror. And the universe will reflect back to you everything that you feel.
Speaking of abundance, we have to go to work. No, Sabrina, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you
This
for
was
having me.
amazing.
This was a pleasure.
And we're probably going to do it again.
Yeah.
And also, we are going to be giving away a mini reading with Sabrina. So one of our lucky listeners gets
Woohoo.
their own reading with Sabrina.
That is
We
so
will.
exciting.
I know. So we will post those details on our Facebook page and also on TikTok. I think Sabrina is going to post something. We haven't figured it out yet, but we're going to
We'll
figure it
talk
out.
We'll get
about
there.
it. Yes.
So, yes, thank you so much for coming to the Lion's Den. We hope that you guys learned a lot, and we hope you have a fantastic and blessed weekend.
Yes.
Week.
Yes. Wherever you're listening,
Whatever.
just I hope that
We
it's
hope it's all
beautiful and it's
great.
blessed. Yes. Yes.
Okay, we'll check you guys out soon. Take care. We love you. Goodbye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.